Great Scott.
Great Scott.
Great Scott.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the final Great Scott of 2015. The year flew by, but we've got a lot of things to be holiday happy for this year and into the next year. So Supergirl, still flying pretty strong. The ratings have dropped. I'm a little concerned, as I was at the beginning, that CBS won't stick with it, or if the ratings keep dropping, maybe CBS is correct for not sticking with it, but who knows? Because a couple of times now, at least once, Gotham has caught up to it and tied it in the ratings. Now, granted, that was because it was the mid-season finale of Gotham and because it had the teaser of Batman v Superman with it, so that probably boosted its ratings because normally Gotham has about 4 million and Supergirl was up to 8, and when it premiered it was at 13, the highest rated fall premiere of the season. So that's fantastic. I was thrilled about it. I had been saying leading up to it that CBS was a bad choice for it, that the regular top three networks, and now 4 with Fox, have a much higher standard of ratings because they have many more households and they need a lot more viewers in order to justify keeping shows on. But both of the superhero shows on the CW have stayed on, and they only get about 4 million. And Gotham has stayed on, and it only gets about 4 million. So with double of that on most weeks, Supergirl has done much, much better. Now, as I say, the ratings have dropped. Hopefully they've stayed at steady because they were really high, then they went down a little bit, then they went down a little bit more, then they evened off, then Gotham tied it, and I think it's still staying around 7, which is much more than Gotham gets on a regular basis, so that could be great. Recently, we've had a lot of great developments on Supergirl. We've got Martian Manhunter, as I was talking about before. I didn't see any reason why they should do it, but damn did he look cool, and I'm really looking forward to where they go with it and how Kara deals with it and where it goes from there. I'd like to see how he became involved and if Superman's involved and behind that in some way. And, of course, what happened with the real Hank and what's going to go on from there. So, yes, we were misled a little bit, but on the other hand, maybe a mystery is good from time to time, and maybe it was a nice way to throw the fans off, because when we all heard they were casting Hank Henshaw, we all thought we knew what that meant. Turns out it's not Hank Henshaw, but it is, in fact, J'onn J'onzz of Mars. And, of course, it explains a number of things. I've been showing the show to my sister, and she was saying, who is this guy? Because he kind of talks in a stilted manner. He's always spoken in a way where some people would say, this guy can't act. But I think it's been purposely done from the beginning that he acted that way because he's not a normal human. He thinks in a different way. If you watch the Justice League cartoon, for instance, you'll notice that J'onn doesn't speak in the way that everybody else does. It's very kind of deliberate and thought out and very methodical in his speech as opposed to just going on like a rambler does, something like me. But I'm very happy about the show. I love Supergirl. I love Melissa Benoist. I've loved that casting from the beginning. I'm liking what's happening with Jimmy. The Callista character, Cat, is what it's supposed to be, I imagine, is the way they wanted it. I don't love it. I would rather she be not so over the top. But I love the battles. I think that the effects are fantastic. We had a showdown with her aunt where they did a Man of Steel thing in there, and it was really cool. I love the homages. I love that they're showing love to all the other past incarnations. In fact, one that wasn't even mentioned, and I wanted to mention it, is in the episode How Does She Do It, where we find out that Maxwell Lord was testing her. Lex Luthor was testing Superman in the old Lois and Clark show in much the same way, but in the pilot episode, almost shot for shot, but not exactly, Superman comes to confront Lex Luthor to tell him he knows who he is, even though nobody else does, and that he's going to get him. He lands on the balcony outside the window. Lex opens it up, acts all smarmy, says, oh, you don't have any proof, that kind of thing. Maxwell says the exact same things. Supergirl arrives in the exact same way, out on a balcony, outside a window, and then flies off the same way that Dean Cain's Superman did. Watch it. Check out the pilot. You can watch the end of episode 1 of Lois and Clark on YouTube. I checked it out. I was certain it was to begin with anyway, but when I checked it out, I was even more thrilled because they clearly wanted to homage that scene, and it works fantastically. I saw it right away. I loved it. I love when they do stuff like that. I love what they're doing on the show. And, of course, the other big thing you may have heard about is Batman v Superman. We've got that coming in just a few months, so it's going to be a great year to be a Superman fan, to be a Super Family fan with Supergirl. He's getting his powers back in the comics. There's a number of things going on that are very exciting. We've seen the most recent trailer. I've talked about it. And now, just today, they released some character posters. I'm not loving the shots that they seem to be going with for Superman. He always looks like this. He kind of looks angry, but he also looks disgusted, and he also kind of looks like he smells something bad. And I'm not thrilled by that. I understand he gets angry sometimes, and he might look like that when he's fighting. And maybe they're trying to get that image across to people because they want people to think he's badass looking. And unfortunately, most people don't normally think of Superman as badass because he's a nice guy. But none of these pictures, none of the trailers, nothing that's going on in them makes him look like a nice guy or a guy who's happy or a guy who brings light to the world. That's the thing that works so well with Supergirl. Yeah, it's a little cheesy at times, and I wish it wasn't. But the heart. It's very heartfelt. It's very emotional. I love the way the feels, as they say. I never say that word, but I love the way it gets you. And it really works to the heart of what the Superman thing is about. And I'm not saying Man of Steel doesn't do that. I'm not saying Henry Cavill's not a great Man of Steel. I loved it. Still think it was the best Superman movie we've ever gotten. But I would like to see, not cheesiness, but a little more lightness at some point. A little happiness, a little, brightness as what Superman is supposed to be. You see him up there and the people in the flood reaching to him, and the sun's behind him, and it's a very bright scene. So that's good. Let's not a lot of time in a movie for making it light or making it really about developing character, because they got to get to the action. They got to show you this great spectacle, because you're only going for 2 hours, and that's what people want to see. I also would like to see some levity at times. Not cheesiness, not even outright comedy, but emotion, heartfelt stuff, good character work. Happens a lot on Supergirl, even though there's some cheesy stuff, but I'm still really looking forward to the film. Hopefully they don't go the Batman is the star road and can do anything he wants. I'm guessing, at the very least, they're going to come to a draw, and it's going to look like they're both on the same level, which is just silly to me, and it unfortunately makes Superman look bad. He's the only one who can come out the loser in this, unless it's evidently clear from the start that without exactly the right circumstances, Batman could never take down Superman. So let's hope that comes. But all that being said, it's a great year to look forward to. We've got the big movie coming out. We've got Supergirl going on. I hope it gets a second season and far beyond that. And I hope you have a great holiday season. Whatever you practice, or if you don't celebrate in any way, still have a great time. Be good to each other, and be happy. Thanks everybody for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky in the new year and beyond. And I don't know, in a movie, they do the same thing with Star Trek. When they go to the movie, it's got to be a big spectacle. There's got to be big battles. Everything's got to be serious. So there's not a lot of time for making it light or making it really heartfelt and really emotional. My camera just changed. Damn it.